What's up? We're so busy today, but I do want to make sure we get this in right at the top because sometimes we'll do it during a break. We are giving away 2 free tickets to a regular season game of your choice every single week for the next couple months. Every week, a giveaway. Could be random drawing, could be trivia, could be contest. This week, we chose contest. Friday night, there's a Giants-Dodgers game. Tell us what the score is. You have to go into the Chat BCC platform, which is free. That's where we're interacting every day. And we're all in there talking about what's going to happen on the show today, asking for questions, giving you the guest list before it starts. Totally free platform. It's just to chat with you. So we're doing a giveaway every single week, foulterritory.chat. If you'd like to get out to a game, get some nice seats. In most cases, up to $400. If you win, you send us what game you want to go to, and we hook you up. It's that simple. So,
and ask, what was his name? Nick Lindsay, who won the last one.
Nick won last week. The contest was, who would you bring with you? So look up the contest in Chat BCC. Bring one other person into the contest. It is kind of a guessing game this time around, but you can use your brain to make a guess on how you think Yamamoto is going to do on Friday night. I don't know if they announced the starter for the Giants side. I'll look up their pitching probables right now.
Oh.
But I know it's a Yamamoto day, so I put my guess in there. Although if I win, I'll give the tickets out to somebody in the chat. But let's see if we can find out who was pitching for San Francisco Logan Webb. Ooh.
Against Yamamoto?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one.
I want to go to that game.
Yeah.
You got to win, and then you can pick the next.
I can't just say I want to go to that game?
I mean, you can do whatever you want. You're an adult. But anyway, just wanted to throw that out there. Foulterritory.chat. Let's get right to biz. Let's start.
Charge the Mound.
So we're going to start with a rare trade request. We don't see this in the game very often.
This doesn't happen in baseball at all.
I
I can't remember the last time. First of all, I can't remember the last time someone requested a trade and then the team actually went through with it. Right? Normally people are like, no, I don't want to be traded.
This one's going to happen. Aaron Civale has requested to be traded. He was just bumped out of the starting rotation. He's been a starter for his entire career. He's made one relief appearance in his major league life, and that was in the playoffs last year against the Mets. Jacob Misiorowski is a top-notch prospect. He's making his debut tonight. They decide to bump Civale out. Ken Rosenthal and Will Salmon from The Athletic were all over the story. They spoke to Jack Toffey, who is the representative, the agent for Aaron Civale. And I think the very end of the article stood out to me with the quote that they listed. Jack, the agent, said, Aaron is not angry or banging his fist on the table, but it's a little confusing because he did not pitch his way out of the rotation whatsoever. It's more of a subjective choice the organization is making.
That's what the organizations can do. This is what happens. This is why certain organizations do things one way and certain organizations do things other ways. I'm sure. Listen, Marcus Stroman went through this with the Yankees, right? He did not ask to be traded. They're like, you're going to be using in the bullpen. And he did not ask to be traded. But Civale wants to be traded because he's a free agent at the end of the year. And starting pitchers get paid more than middle inning bullpen guys. I'm sorry. That's just the facts are the facts, right? So he did, by them doing this, he's feeling like his value is being held down. And I mean, I'm sure there's a team out there that'll take a starter that can take the ball every fifth day and give him some quality innings. There are a lot of teams out there that'll pay for something for him. I just have never heard of when's the last time you heard of a guy saying in baseball, I want to be traded? It just doesn't happen that much.
He's making $8 million this year on a team that definitely has to be careful always with their budget. Yeah. And they do have a pretty solid starting rotation going right now and more on the way. Civale is a free agent after this season, Kratz, and he's trying to make sure that he stays on path and remains in a starting role. In fairness, he strained his left hamstring in his first outing this season. 4 starts since coming back on May 22nd, a 3.32 ERA in 19 innings. That's pretty good, and I think a team could use him. So I do think he's going to get traded. Teams at this point in the season have leverage. They're going to try to make the Brewers eat a little bit of the money, but I do think he gets dealt pretty soon. You?
Man, starting pitching. I mean, if he's healthy, it's hard to trade starting pitching if you are trying to stay in it. I mean, I think I was looking down the list. The guys that have gone down this year for them, Quintana went down for a little while. Logan Henderson's been to the bushes. Who else did they send down? They sent
Tobias Myers.
Else. Yeah, Myers. Thank you, Tobias Myers, who started a playoff game for him, was the pitcher of the year for the team. Yes, it's subjective. That is baseball. That's like a guy and I'm not saying that Civale said it. I know his agent said it, but that's like somebody sitting there going, why is that guy getting called up? I'm hitting 280. Yeah, but that guy's hitting 210 with 15 homers. You're hitting 280 with 1 homer. Whatever. So subjective. I need to be traded. This kind of chatter goes on all the time in the minor leagues. You rarely hear it in the big leagues, but I don't know that anything happens. I don't know that they trade him right now. Could they get a piece for him? Yeah, but to me, I think he's more valuable to the Brewers as more depth.
Well, what if he doesn't pan out as a reliever?
He's not. Here's the problem. The one thing that he could do is he could just be as miserable as possible, and they'd have to move.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know Aaron Civale, or I don't know Civale from anywhere. It's Aaron, by the way, not Adam. That's why I was like, wait, what?
Oh, he said Adam?
No, on the screen it says Adam.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Let's
Sorry, I was like, wait, what? I don't know Aaron Civale from anywhere. Anybody? I mean, I've maybe said hi to him once in my life, but to me, he doesn't seem like a guy that's going to cause problems and ruffle feathers. Now, there's been people that I played with, I'm sure Kratz have played with, that are just miserable, and they're just like, I don't want to be here, and they ruffle feathers to a point where finally the team's like, all right, that's enough, you're out of here. But the thing to me is, yeah, he's valuable to the Brewers, but I don't know. I think that if they can get something for him, I think they would gladly get something for him.
I think people are comparing Stroman not asking for a trade to Civale asking for a trade. Completely different. Stroman just wants to get his starts. He wasn't saying he's not a bullpen guy. He wants to get his starts because that option gets picked up. Civale is different. He's a free agent. So I think that the situations are different, but I don't know. I just am. I like that his agent stuck up for him. That's what your agent's supposed to do. Make the agent look bad, not the player.
What would you guys do? What would you do, right? You're in the thick of your career. This is your one time as a pitcher to make some good coin. You're going to be free agent after this season. Your numbers are decent. What would you do?
I'd want to start.
Right.
I'd want to start. I'd do the same thing he did. I'd say, listen, guys, I've been a Brewer not very long, but I would love to get the opportunity to start. I'm a free, and be honest, go to Matt Arnold and say, listen, I'm a free agent at the end of the year. I need to start for my value.
It's time. We haven't done role play in a while.
But
so. I'm Matt Arnold. Ready? And I'm a nice guy.
No,
We've
I'm
had
not
Matt Arnold
do it.
on the show. Totally appreciate you. You're pitching well. We just have a roster crunch right now, and we want to bring up Mizorowski. We can't start you at the moment. Then you say,
okay, trade me.
Okay.
And then if he says, we're going to put you in the bullpen, all you got to do is say, I won't. When they call down, I won't come in.
Well, you have to come in. You can get fined and suspended for not playing.
Then they'll trade you.
Right.
You listen, you can make life as miserable for the team. Now, they have all the power. I get that. But they also don't want somebody being miserable around the guys. Trust me, I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they'll be like, oh, this guy, let's get rid of him because doesn't fit in with the people. Right?
So he's doing nothing wrong. He's going to get
No,
traded.
I have no problem with him doing this at all. I have no problem with Aaron Civale asking for a trade.
If he had a 6.5 ERA in 15 starts this season, it's a tougher case, right?
100%.
Because I would say if I'm Matt Arnold, hey, you're not pitching well. I can't trade you. And you're making $8 million. You want to give me the money back? Then it's a different case, right? It helps that he's performed pretty well.
He's been consistently pretty good over his career.
Okay.
There's a lot of teams out there that could take Aaron Civale right now and plug him into the back end of their rotation and say, for $8 million, we're upgrading where we're at right now.
He's been an interesting guy, Kratz. If you follow his career, He's pitched for some of the sabermetric pitching darling organizations. Milwaukee,
Yep.
Tampa Bay, Cleveland. I don't want to say they gave up on him.
I thought the Cleveland to Tampa Bay trade was interesting for me, and then the Tampa Bay to Milwaukee trade, because you would think Cleveland, he was pretty good in Cleveland. He was one of their better guys, and he went to Tampa Bay and he did okay. I don't know. Is $8 million that much for a guy that you can pencil in to give you a low 4 or under 4 ERA for his career?
He hasn't performed up to what those organizations think he's capable of, and they haven't been able to totally crack it yet. Even this year, we're talking about a super small sample size. Kratz, he is a stuff plus darling. Our friend, Cyrus, who's been on this show, is big on that stat and works on it. But there are definitely organizations who either use that or have a variation of that behind the scenes, and they go, this guy has stuff. Can we corral it and turn him into a better starter than what the numbers have been for him, right? Because if you look at what his numbers have produced, up and down. I mean, look at the ERAs or the ERA pluses.
I mean, he's a 4.06 ERA for his career. Most teams would take that. That's not bad. It's not awful.
That's like what, a 4 or 5 starter?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For a back-end starter, there's a lot of teams. Kratz, am I wrong? There's a lot of teams that are in the competing window right now. You think the Orioles wouldn't take that right now?
No doubt. My only point on this part is that those 3 teams have to find a guy like that for $8 million and make him a number 2 starter, and they haven't been able to figure that part out. He's not more that. Of a 4 or 5,
but he's not that.
Right. So for other teams, Kratz, I mean, Aaron Civale, go organization by organization right now, could be the number 4 or 5 starter on at least half the teams in the league, right?
No, for sure. He's got to be out there, though. The one column last year was the first time that he eclipsed 30 starts. Before that, it was 20, 21, 23. So his value going up, I get it, guys don't make 30 starts anymore, but you think of a guy who's kind of like smoke and mirrors a little bit when you're looking at stuff-wise, then you have to say, okay, what other value does he bring to me? And I think that's why Cleveland cut bait and ran. The Rays were like, hey, we'll pick somebody up. We'll pick somebody up that we see has those outlying metrics. But I just think – I disagree. I don't think you ask for a trade. I think
really?
This is the team. I understand why he's doing it, but that doesn't mean I agree. And maybe that's me coming from a different spot in my career where it was always like, when you're on a team, you're on a team. And that loyalty maybe hurts his value if he is like that. But I don't know. I have a hard time believing that just because he's not going to spend the last 4 months of the season in the bullpen. I mean, if that happens, the Brewers might be in first place. I just have a hard time.
There's not necessarily a path, Kratz. I'll just stop you there. There's not necessarily a path. Freddie Peralta, they've liked what they've seen from Chad Patrick and Quinn Priester, and they've used DL Hall as a piggyback. Jose Quintana. They booted Logan Henderson from their rotation.
And now Mizorowski's up.
Right. Mizorowski's up. Henderson had a 1.71 ERA in his first 4 big league starts. Tobias Myers, I think at some point is going to come back.
Those strikes.
I know, but if he does figure that out at the course of this season.
He's not throwing strikes.
Yeah. Nestor Cortez should come back at some point.
He's throwing. Woo, what about Big Woo?
Big Woo apparently just got moved to the 60-day IL, but still at some point might come back. That's
a
lot of names.
The IL again?
I think so.
I just saw
him. He got hit in the elbow.
No, I know. He was literally, that was his last rehab start, and he took a line drive off his elbow. But I didn't know they put him on he's been on the 60-day IL, right?
Mustn't have, because I just saw it come across that he got put on the 60. And I don't know if that was like a roster, something to do with the roster.
It just got announced. Mizorowski called up. They optioned Easton McGee.
He's been out long enough now where that's a paper move.
Right. Well, because the way 60 IL works is you have to clear that in the offseason, right?
Yeah.
Remember that was the whole thing with Strasburg? It's like, do you want him taking up a roster spot? So then you clear that. So then for Woodruff, initially they thought he wouldn't be on another 60-day IL because they thought he would come back
10,
early.
15, whatever it is.
Yeah, now they transferred him to the 60s.
Which is just a roster move.
It's more of
it's a paper move.
Paper move. He still can come back soon. But anyway, Kratz, sorry to cut you off. My point was, I don't know if there's necessarily a path for him in the next month and a half before the trade deadline. And then after the trade deadline, you can't really get moved.
So then, yes, they can trade him. But if they don't have that kind of depth, they believe. I mean, that's a hope, a wish. They have a lot of hopes and wishes in the depth department, yes, based on what you just said. But he can't expect to be traded without seeing 3 starts from Mizorowski, without seeing Nestor Cortez back on a big league mound, Big Woo getting called up and throwing more than 4 innings. He can't expect to be traded. He has value for the team right now. Whether it's right or it's wrong, there's plenty of guys in situations that are like, oh, man, if I get traded, that'd have been the best thing ever. Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. The grass isn't always greener.
Yeah, but it's a different situation. This guy's a veteran. This isn't a young guy that's just running his mouth.
About to hit free agency.
This guy's been around. He's about to be a free agent. Yeah, that's the thing.
Hey.
If he wasn't a free agent at the end of this year, he'd be like, okay, I'll do it. But he's a free agent at the end of the year, so that's why he wants to start.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's a great debate. We're coming back. We got a great guest list today with Hunter Dobbins, Red Sox rookie, up first on FT. If you're one of those on-the-go people or you're skipping meals but you don't want to, there's got to be a quicker solution. We've got one for you. It's called Huel. I'm going to take a swig. Cheers to Huel. This is the Black Edition, plant-based as well. Good for me. But what do you like about it?
I like the nutrition of it, and the replacement meal is great for me. Someone always on the go. Like, man, I can just grab one of these out of my fridge, lunch, breakfast, whatever it takes. Whatever meal I'm not going to have time to eat, it fills me up. And it tastes great. You know why? Because it tastes like milkshake, ice cream, whatever you want to call it, whatever flavor you get is delicious.
35 grams of protein, 6 grams of fiber, 27 vitamins and minerals, low sugar. You can get yourself 15% off plus a free gift for new customers using the exclusive FT code FOUL, F-O-U-L, at Huel.com/FOUL. Please see our description for terms and conditions. Skip the stress, not the nutrition. Try Huel today for complete nutrition, bottled. I'll do a little Huel crack right now. Hey, here's one that we'll only have a couple minutes for. We had seen the injury, about a week ago? There you go, Kratz. Jackson Jobe, Tommy John surgery, which sucks because at this time of year, now you're wiping out next year as well. So you're looking at 2027 for...
Yeah, he was supposed to really help their rotation and be a guy. He was a dude.
Top pitching prospect in baseball last year.
Yeah.
Really, him and Andrew Painter have received the most hype. Painter should come back at some point
Painter's
this season.
Just had Tommy John.
He's coming back. He struggled a little in the minors, I think, throwing strikes, but he is supposed to come back at some point for the Phillies, maybe in the second half. But anyway, the Tigers lose Jobe. The glass half full approach here, Kratz, the Tigers are really damn good, and they've got enough depth to be able to make things happen, plus enough depth in their system to make trades at the deadline, which I think they would have done either way. They'll try and get somebody that can pitch a playoff game for them.
Yeah, if that's available, that's a team that's going to do it. I mean, they clearly are pushing their chips all in. Only got a few more years of Scooble, so you have your ace. You need somebody around him with him and Flaherty and Casey Mize throwing well. They'll fill in there whatever their need is. And they just add to their bullpen again.
I think they'll try to do both. I mean, they have a 1-2 punch.
Listen, they're going to make moves because this is their window is wide open right now with Scooble, Flaherty, and the way they're playing in the division. So they're going to make moves.
Yeah. Here comes Red Sox pitcher Hunter Dobbins on foul territory for the first time. Hunter, great to have you on, man. First off, are you okay? Looks like you might blow away here while we're chatting.
Oh, I'm good. Got outside the city during the off day. Gonna go do some fishing, just relax a little bit.
Looks like you're under. Are you in an RV? That looks like one of those awnings that would be under an RV.
Yeah, it's like a little Airbnb. I'm just out here, kind of found some shade before I go hop on the water.
Nice. What are we fishing for today?
Anything that bites.
So
it's been way too long since I've gotten to fish, so I'm just looking forward to getting out there and seeing what I can get to bite it.
You're a lake guy? You're not a saltwater guy. You're a lake guy, clearly. Being from Texas, you're probably a lake guy.
A little bit of both. I grew up down by Houston, so we kind of have both. We have kind of redfish, trout down there off the coast, but then we're also bass and everything in the catfish on the lakes.
Listen, you play for the Red Sox. Have you ever seen Wicked Tuna? You got to get one day. You got to get one of them captains because Johnny Gomes and those guys did it one day. And they went out there with like those bluefin tunas that are like 1,000 pounds. You got to do that. I've always wanted to do it. I've never had the opportunity to do it, but you're in Boston. You play for the Red Sox. They'll do anything for you in Red Sox Nation. So you got to go, and you got to go bluefin hunting, dude, with those 1,000-pound freaking bluefins. You can make your year's salary with one of them things.
Yeah, those things are expensive, and that's on the bucket list. I want to get out there and fight one of them because I think it takes hours to get them in.
No doubt. All right, so you've had a week. Take me through how crazy this week was for you, and you've been thrust right into the Yankees-Red Sox rivalry, and what do you know? You have them again this weekend. Are you enjoying it?
I'm going to be honest with you. Outside of the interviews and stuff, I haven't paid a single bit of attention to it. I'm just trying to get ready for Saturday. Because the Yankees are the first team that I've gone against twice in the big leagues, let alone back-to-back outings. So that's where my focus has been. It's been a lot of fun to be a part of the rivalry. It's blown up, and I think it was blown up a little more than it needed to be. It was kind of just a lot of fun enjoying the first round, but yeah, no, I'm just ready for Saturday.
All right. I mean, I don't even want to bring this up, but I just have to. Like, I loved your quote. I thought it was awesome. When you said it, I was like, dude, he plays for the Red Sox. He grew up a Red Sox fan. I mean, let's go. Like, this is what I want in baseball. Like, I played for the Red Sox for like 3 months, and in those 3 months, I never seen fans that hated another organization as much as Red Sox fans hate Yankee fans and vice versa. So you're in the middle of it. You grew up a Red Sox fan. Dude, I have no problem with what you said. And listen, the fact that the Yankees, it made them mad, so what? They play for the other team. You're not there to help them out, right? You're not there to give them money. They're trying to take money out of your pocket. You're trying to get them out. So I loved it. I'm saying I loved it, and that's it. I love it. We need more of that. Damn it, we need more trash talking.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it was never a shot at any of the guys in that other dugout or their org. I mean, it was just grew up a Red Sox fan, and I mean, y'all seen everything going on. From my personal experiences in pro ball, especially, I said what I said. I stand by what I said, and it's supposed to be a fun rivalry. They're two very passionate fan bases, and we're supposed to be slugging it out on the field, and that's what we're doing.
So I used to work in the Red Sox organization in the minor leagues. How much do they talk about it? How much do they talk about that with you guys when you go into play Somerset, when you're in Portland, when you go into Scranton and play the Yankees?
Don't really talk about it much. It's more of we know who they're affiliated with. It's kind of just part of coming up. You feel it starting to kind of grow, and especially you get to the upper levels, there's big names on both sides. So what's going on, but they don't really preach it a whole lot. It's just kind of player-led.
True. Hey, listen, I didn't play for the Red Sox in the minor leagues, but when you played a team in your division, you kind of knew. I came up with the Twins, and we played the Indians, Guardians, Tigers. You kind of knew, like, hey, this is going to be our future competition. We want to beat these guys and show that we're better. So I get it from an organizational standpoint. I got to ask you this about your father. Is there anything you want to clear up? Because I want to know what happened here, because I don't know. I mean, is there anything with your dad that, I don't know, there's fact checking going on and all kinds of stuff. What do you want to say about this?
I mean, I addressed it yesterday. It is what it is. They're trying to find stuff that happened in the early 90s and, lower level minor league baseball. So it's like, I don't care what they say. I've never really cared what the media 2 hours south of here says anyways. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it hasn't fazed me at all. I'm just ready to go for Saturday.
What did your dad say? What did he say? Have you talked to him and said, hey, Dad, like, this is going on. What do I do here? Or you're like, yeah, it's my dad. I love him. I don't care. Father's Day is on Sunday. I'm going to pitch great on Saturday for you.
It's been more of that. It's, I don't even care enough to even bring it up. I mean, it's like at the end of the day, he's my dad. I'm ready to go on Saturday, enjoy Father's Day with him on Sunday, and I mean, I could not care less.
Hey, Hunter, how much of an impact has your dad had on your career? Like, what does he think about this right now? Because obviously, I think the other part of the equation here is not many guys get to pitch for their favorite organization. You're doing that right at the jump of your career. Both teams are good, again, which is not always the case either, right? Like the Red Sox are rising back up. So, has he been talking to you a lot about how, like, of course, you've got to focus on what you've got at hand, but you're also playing out your dream here?
Yeah. I mean, kind of your first point. My dad means everything to my career. He literally taught me everything I know about pitching. He's been my coach from when I was little, but more so, he taught me to be the man that I am, and I'm forever thankful for that. Um, Whatever they say or whatever is going on is not going to change how I feel about my dad. Forever grateful to him. But yeah, then getting to pitch in Fenway, especially for my debut, that was insane. Loved it. But I mean, it's a dream come true. And even last weekend, getting to start Sunday night baseball in Yankee Stadium, rubber match. I mean, that was a big game going against a guy like Rodon. Like, that's what you dream of. And so it's been a whirlwind. I wouldn't change a single thing about my rookie year so far. And just looking forward to just continuing.
How much does that feeling change, though? Because just the other day, Will Smith was asked after the game. Will Smith, the catcher of the Dodgers, after a big Padres-Dodgers game that was back and forth in San Diego. The place was ruckus. He was like, yeah, it felt just like kind of another game. And I was kind of like, you might have prepared for like it was another game. But what is that? What is the difference in that rivalry? What's the difference when you come into the stadium or when you go out to the field? What is that feeling that you feel?
That the LA Padres rivalry is great, but I mean, at the end of the day, the Red Sox Yankees is the rivalry that you think of whenever you think about baseball. I think it's just there's so much history, there's so much passion that I hope I kind of always have that edge of like, man, it's the Yankees. I want to go beat them. I again, I've been up in the show for a month and a half, 2 months now, so not a whole lot of experience to tell you or kind of go off of, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna always kind of have that edge and enjoy the rivalry.
Hunter, as someone that played for a little bit of time, you don't ever lose that edge, okay? Because that's one of the great things about baseball is I think, or not, sorry, one of the non-great things about baseball, I think sometimes players lose that edge a little bit because you get jaded and you, after a little bit of time, you're like, oh, this doesn't mean as much. Don't ever lose that, because people ask me, playing for the White Sox, we played the Cubs, it was always a big deal, right? No matter what. So if you grew up a Red Sox fan and you don't like the Yankees, don't ever lose that edge. Stick with it and don't lose it, because it should mean something. Like, you were a fan. You know what these fans are going through for the Red Sox, right, when they play the Yankees. So don't lose that. But I'm also going to give you this advice. Don't make some games too big and some games too low, right? This isn't the playoffs, but just kind of, yes, they'll always have the edge when there's certain games and you know about it, but also don't lose the edge for some other games, because you don't want to have, oh man, a great Yankees start and you're all hyped up, and then the next start you're pitching against the Rockies and you're like, oh, well, right? So just you'll learn. You're young. You just try to level it out and you'll be fine, because I've seen your stuff. Your stuff is good. Just don't lose the edge.
I appreciate it. Yeah, that's kind of, I told that, or I was talking to Crochet about that, and I was like, man, like, as a Red Sox going into Yankee Stadium in a game like that, Sunday Night Baseball, like, you feel like, outside of playoffs, like, that's like the best road environment you're gonna get. But he just kind of reminded me, is like, hey, like, yeah, great environment, great game, but at the end of the day, every time you get up on that mound, you have a job to do.
All right, you're one of the rookies that probably didn't get quite the fanfare as the other rookies that have come up. Christian Campbell got a big extension. Marcelo Myers' family, his seats were right next to the dugout. Obviously, Roman Anthony, they got signs made for him. They didn't get any big old signs for Hunter Dobbins when you made your debut. Do you think it's funny that those guys got seats right next to the dugout. Did your family get seats for your Fenway debut right next to the dugout?
No, but I mean, I feel like pitchers and hitters are a little different. You know, my family had the seats right behind home plate, so they really got to watch every pitch, be a part of that. The big three guys, you know, I've come up with Roman and Marcelo pretty much the whole way. So I mean, I loved seeing their families there. Campbell, I wasn't there for his debut, obviously, but you know, everything that they got, they deserved 100%. I'm extremely happy with how my debut went. My wife got to be there, my mother-in-law, my mom, dad, little brother. Like, I got to enjoy that moment, and they were kind of up there behind home plate where even I could see them as I was pitching. So, no, I'm completely happy with how it was.
All right. Now, you've played with all these guys at different spots in their career. What's one superhero trait that each of them has that's different?
I would say Marcelo's ability to slow the game down. Like, ever since I first played with him in Salem, he never lets the game get too big or speed up on him. Roman, I've never seen baseballs hit the way that he hits them. It's insane. I feel like every time he touches the ball, it's 100 plus off the bat. And I'd say Campbell, just his versatility. I mean, I don't think I've seen the dude do anything and struggle, really. I mean, I know he's uh, going through kind of the learning curve of the big leagues. We all are as rookies. But I mean, the dude is like, even like in the middle of all that, I still love turning around and seeing him behind me because I knew that dude was giving me everything he had.
Love that.
No, well, let's ask the question: who's going to be the best one?
Whoa.
Which one's going to be the best?
This is my straight up honest answer, not the politically correct answer. I think all three are going to be absolute huge impacts in Boston for a long time. I can't even tell you who's going to be better. I mean, all three of them do things that I've never seen people do.
The answer is Roman Anthony because he's from Florida, Hunter. I'm just going to give you the right answer.
So
Okay,
biased.
that's
don't
always
know,
if
that's
someone's from Florida, they're always the right answer. Okay, so he's from Florida. I don't think the other two are. So that's the answer.
Oh, if there was a guy from Texas in the equation, I'd go with him. But
See, that's exactly how it works, right? I get it. So I'm going to talk to you about Texas Tech. You went to Texas Tech. Was it Davis Martin? Didn't Davis Martin go to Texas? The guy we had in spring training for the White Sox. Davis Martin, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So were you there at the same time?
no, he was, I believe, the year before me is when he got drafted.
Okay. And then my next question is, I'm sure you saw Texas Tech was in the College World Series for women, the Women's Softball World Series.
Yeah.
They lost to Texas, right? What's her name? Brianna Kennedy? She's the one, the pitcher? Nigeri Kennedy, yeah. She's the one that strikes everybody out. Patrick Mahomes gave her $1 million. Did Patrick Mahomes give you guys $1 million when you played at Texas Tech?
When I was there, that was still illegal. So
sure it was.
So no, we didn't get any of that. No, but she deserved all of that. She and that whole team did a great job representing the school. But no, we didn't get any of that while I was there. Hopefully, we get some of that flowing into the baseball program here pretty soon.
There you go.
She's the best. She's got to be the best pitcher ever out of Texas Tech, right? Is she the best pitcher ever out of Texas Tech?
Softball, yeah.
Okay.
Certainly the richest.
And I think we just went and got like some All-American from UCLA or something like that. So they're reloading for sure. So,
dang, I got to get on that payroll.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Hey, who did you watch, Hunter? Who did you watch growing up, or who's your favorite pitcher? And have you met him?
Haven't met him, just missed him with the Red Sox. I grew up watching Michael Wacha. I watched him when he was at Texas A&M because I grew up there. And, you know, I just love the way that he played the game and then the way that he's kind of just gone about his business in the big leagues. It's been fun to watch, and it's a guy that I've kind of looked up to my whole time coming up.
I like it. My last one, so kind of going back to where we started, Jazz Chisholm said, I love trash talk in baseball. Like, let's do this, right? And he's definitely the guy who speaks the loudest on the Yankees side. Do you feel like our game has enough of that? On our show, we always say, we'll have a situation like this, and we're like, that's Tuesday in the NBA. And like, you're just entering your career. You want to pay it forward. It's not like you're trying to get anyone in trouble, but like it does make the game much more interesting when there is the real rivalry going on. Do you feel that way? Like, can you take a step outside and look in at our league as you just entered it and say, hey, maybe we should be doing a little bit more of this because it does draw up interest and make a game in June much more interesting?
I mean, there's a line, right? I think we're competitors. We're in the top, fraction of percentage of what we do. And, as long as we don't cross that line, we have some fun with it. Like kind of Jazz and I, like neither one of us took it like personally. We're out there, me versus him that night, but after that, it's done. It's over with. It was a lot of fun. I think, some friendly banner, playful stuff like that would be great for the game. It'd be a lot of fun, adds to it. But now, yeah, we got to make sure we don't cross that line.
Yeah,
Erik Civale does it all the time. Erik Civale now talks trash to everybody.
He does.
And everyone thinks it's funny and cute. I mean, it's great. He's telling people not to swing. He's yelling at Bregman not to swing at the first pitch, right, from the duck. I mean, listen, it's fun and good and all, but, yeah, sometimes people get their feelings hurt. By the way, what is it? What do they do? Texas Tech guns?
Yeah, guns up.
Yeah.
Guns up.
Yep, right there.
Guns up.
There you go. Well, let's let him get to fishing right now.
Go catch some fish. Send us pictures of what you catch, and don't change.
Sounds good. I appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Hunter. Great getting to know you, man. Appreciate you. Talk soon.
Absolutely. Y'all have a good one.
You too. Hunter Dobbins, Red Sox rookie with us on FT. Sal Frelick joining us later. Tyler Kepner on the player poll, too. That was released in The Athletic, coming soon. Kratz, you look different today. Do I see chubby shorts on your shoulder?
Oh, the sick design. I mean, don't even get it twisted too, because the lining normally is like an SOS pad. This lining that's in the center is so soft, so smooth. The outside, so many things to choose from on chubbyshorts.com.
Facts. And the code FOUL for 20% off. I got the Tiger Sharks.
Ooh-wee.
Little blend of a tiger and a shark. It's beautiful. So don't wait. For a very limited time, shop Chubby's biggest sale of the year, $45 shorts and up to 65% off select gear. Hit up chubbyshorts.com and grab your favorites before they're gone. If you miss the sale, then use the FT code, FOUL in lowercase for 20% off. Support FT. Let them know we sent you when the survey asks, and get ready to turn some heads. Summer's here.
I love my dad.
Dress like it in Chubby's. Hey, we're back. That was fun. So
that was great, by the way.
First off, we set this up 10 plus days ago when we were talking to Hunter. We're like, hey, we'd love to get you on. Just, hey, let's get one of their Red Sox rookies on. He's playing with all these other guys, starting to make a name for himself. And then everything happens over the past week. I mean, you guys are players.
I love it.
I want to do our journalistic best, too, to ask the questions. And he was like, I don't give a crap about New York media. Sure, you want to look back to something from the 90s that was off, good for you. Not even important enough for me to talk to my dad about. Didn't hurt anyone. I'm like, damn, respect. I like that. It doesn't regret 1 second of anything. And also, like, in fairness, he is right. He does bring some, whatever the word is, like levity, brevity, whatever, back to the combo. Like, so what?
Two things on this. One, listen, he said what he said, and he stands by it. I love it. Like, if you're going to say something like that, don't back down just because the media gives you crap. Wear it. And two, as a father, and Kratz, you're my father, if my kids one day say, listen, it's my dad, I love him, and what he said is what he said, and that means my relationship with my father means more to me than what some people in the media say, you know what? Kudos to him, man. Mm-hmm. Kudos to him. And you know what? Kudos to his dad for raising him that way and having that kind of relationship with him to where he stands up for his dad. That's pretty awesome to me.
I agree. And when he was saying it, he was just like, whatever. Like they can drum up whatever they want to drum up. Some guys will get squirrely and be like, well, I just don't want to. He said it with his chest.
That dude's going to make it. He's got
I
confidence.
hope so. He's got good stuff, man.
Yeah, he does.
I can't wait to watch him pitch on Saturday
Hell
against him
yeah.
again.
At home.
Fenway's going to be rocking.
Okay, so part of the theme of today's show is reacting to the player poll that was put out in The Athletic. There are a number of categories, so we'll try and get to some of them, and then we'll also have a guest on to talk more about it. But let's just do the manager side for this conversation. Did you guys see this? Did you see this, or do you want me to quiz you?
I haven't seen that. I saw a little bit of it.
Do you know the
I haven't seen
manager
it.
that – you haven't seen it? The manager that players most want to play for is –
Who they most want to play for?
mm-hmm.
It's got to be like Dave Roberts or
AJ Hinch, one of those two.
AJ Hinch. Yeah.
Murph.
Kevin Cash. Oh,
No.
no, Vogt. Stephen Vogt.
He was in the top 3.
Tito.
Tito's 2.
Stephen Vogt.
When I say this one, you'll go, oh, yeah, that tracks. Big
Booney?
resume.
Big winning resume. Dave
Oh,
Roberts.
Boch.
Bigger.
Boch.
Oh, Bochy.
Boch.
Bochy, yeah.
Bruce Bochy.
Rangers games right there, too, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's won a ton.
Yeah. He treats his players good.
Hall of
He
Fame
knows how to
legend.
handle every situation. Yeah. And
Makes
Boch is fun to be around.
Yeah,
Away from, I'm not talking about in the dugout. I never played for him, but I'm talking off the field. He's a fun guy to handle.
Yep.
right.
Yep. 100%. Thanks, AJ. Appreciate you saying that. Just really trying
And
to
plus,
be
if it rains, he can take his hat off and put it over the whole city, and it stays dry.
And we're dry.
The great quote that I found from that portion was a player, because it's all anonymous, right? They talked to 100+ players. A player on Tito. He commands a room almost like a friend. He's still an authoritative figure, but I would say he's more like a young grandpa. I thought it was just a fun line.
He's
to
not
sum
that
up
young.
Tito.
I
He's a grandpa.
would say he's more like an
grandpa.
uncle. I would say he's more like an uncle. But spring training with Terry Francona is worth all 6 weeks of spring training. He has a slogan: team that gambles together wins together. And there's you'd play games in spring training. Sometimes they'd $50 for the first one off the field. He has an MVP of every game, every spring training game that you win. He's got an MVP. Sometimes the coaches can't agree, and they'll split the $100. But you get $100 if you win MVP. A lot of people are very engaged in Terry Francona's spring training.
It's fun.
Anything to break up spring training.
Okay, now I'll go to the other side of this, which, no surprise, received a lot of NA, as in they didn't vote. But they tried to get players to say the top manager they wouldn't want to play for.
Pedro Gaffal.
Not eligible. Although, you know who was on this list? I didn't read into how that happened, but Kapler cracked the list.
He's not even a manager.
He hasn't been managing in a minute. I'll just read you. There were only 40 players that chose to respond out of the 100+. They respond to almost everything else. Most of them were just like, I'm not going there. And in fairness, I started reading some of the quotes. Ali Marmol was tied with Bud Black for the top. And one of the players who voted for him said this direct quote: I don't really know many managers. I'm trying to think of someone in our division just so I can say someone. Who is the Cardinals guy? Yeah, just put him down. So I'm like, okay.
Clearly don't know Ollie, because Ollie's very nice and very player.
Right. But that's what I'm saying.
I just read the quote. Yeah.
The votes are so low.
No,
on
this is my
one.
favorite one. Ron Washington. Because I want to use my cell phone.
Yes.
That's the best one.
That's a real
Come
one.
on. That's a real quote. Because I want to use my cell phone.
So good.
I think we're
Bud
done.
Black.
I think the game's done with having managers that are not player centric. Now you're gonna have managers that guys will be like, dude, that guy is a backstabber, which happens. There's some managers that are like, they'll do anything to hold on. They'll have a death grip on their job. But I think front offices have stopped bringing guys in that don't connect in some way with the players. Most front offices. Somebody screwed one up a few years ago, but
True.
Listen, I played with some managers. I played for some managers that would do anything they could to make the media happy after the game. Their moves were predicated on the answers they'd have to answer after the question.
Oh, well, I know managers
And then
now.
they would like Kratz said, they get you.
Yeah, but I know managers now who use the media to talk to their players.
Also, yeah, but that's fine. As long as that's fine. Listen, I played for Ozzie Guillen for 7 years. You think Ozzie Guillen didn't use the media to get messages across to people?
Of course.
He did it every day. Of course he did.
Yeah, because, I mean, I remember I had a combo with a current manager who was like, I know there are some players who I can chat with, but then if I say something to the media, they will see it on their phone in 5 seconds, and it will resonate more from their phone than it will for me, which is kind of sad about society if there's somebody who can't listen to a face-to-face conversation, but they'll see it in their phone. I wanted to get this quote in there. So someone did have a little personal beef with Bud Black in here. They go, because he doesn't stop talking when he's in the dugout, and as a player, it gets kind of annoying. Plus, it means I'd be pitching in Colorado. So obviously, there were a lot of other things involved. But I just thought the first part
was always Clint Hurdle to me when he was the manager on whatever team he was on. He was just yelling all the time from their like, dude, like shush, like shush. I can hear you. You're managing bad team after bad team, dude. Shush.
That's why.
You played for Hurdle, didn't you, Kratzy? No.
Mm-hmm.
Was he always just yelling? I just always felt like maybe it's because he just has that voice. It's just really loud, and I just heard it a lot. But it just always seemed like he was screaming something.
Yep, he's got a loud voice.
Kratz looks like he wants to say more.
I know, like there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know Clint Hurdle. I mean, I've met
He has a
Clint
loud
Hurdle, but I
voice.
don't know him.
He has a loud voice. I'll stop it at that. He has a loud voice.
We're on a show 2 hours a day, and that's all we got.
That's what we got.
Man.
Okay. Listen, I worked with Joe Girardi, and I told him, I'm like, dude, when you were with the Yankees, all I heard was you yelling from the dugout. There was literally one time I looked at Joe and I go, can you just shut up from the field? I'm like, can you just stop talking? He's like, does it bother you? And I'm like, it's just annoying as hell. Can you just stop? And he's like, well, then it's working. I'm like, stop.
Then it's working.
I'm like, stop, Joe, please. Because he had him and Tony Pena, and it was like, I'm like, dude, just
It's gamesmanship.
I guess, but
The Cardinals were the worst at that. The Cardinals, Mike Matheny, Cardinals, Tony La Russa, Cardinals. Mark McGwire was a hitting coach. They would, anytime you'd throw up and in close, especially as a young pitcher coming up with the Pirates, like any of those young pitchers would throw anywhere up and in, even with the Phillies, they do the same thing. Hey, knock it off. Come on. Like, we're all adults. Even the dudes that are like 23, 24 years old. We're adults. You don't need to try to intimidate people from the dugout. Like, you're in the game. You're not part of the game. Like, relax.
It's gamesmanship. And then they're trying to get you to not pitch inside. Anyway, fun poll. We'll do a lot more with this, including Tyler Kepner from The Athletic, who is involved in putting this together. We'll talk to him about some pieces of the player poll next. This one's easy for us to talk about. I'm a huge fan of Hungry Root. They're delivering groceries that we want and groceries that we didn't know we want, but we want.
oh yeah, they every box that I get from Hungry Root has a new snack in it that I'm like, oh, this looks interesting, and then I try it, and I'm like, oh, I might need some more of those. So they're great at not only getting the groceries you want, but they surprise you with tasty little treats that you didn't know you needed.
Agreed. Turkey jerky. There was like a chocolate pudding thing where I'm like, I'm not a big chocolate pudding fan, then I have it, and I'm like, this is awesome. So they can cater to your needs. You got gluten-free, or you're looking for a certain diet that you want to fulfill, or there are certain items that you love. They learn along with you. You let them know your preferences. They just nail it. Take advantage of the exclusive FT offer, please. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/FT. Use code FT. That's hungryroot.com/FT, code FT, to get 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. All right, let's hit a quickie news story here. Jack Curry, who reports on the Yanks for Yes, said Ben Rice hasn't started a game at catcher this season, but with Giancarlo Stanton's return looming. Aaron Boone said Rice could start some games behind the dish. Kratz, casual mid-season, throw him into the catcher role, no big deal.
Ooh, it's hot back there. Boys are going to be slinging that rock up there. You better be ready to go. For me, yeah, His receiving might be legit. He might be able to keep that going off machines and bullpens and everything. Blocking, adjusting, throwing in game, all that stuff that isn't valued metrically, gets quick. Game calling gets quick. You're not making the decisions when you're out there at DH and first base. It'll be interesting to see, but everybody I've talked to with the Yankees says he's ready to go. He's kept himself ready, so it'll be interesting.
I don't know. It's hard. What did Ron Washington say? First base is incredibly hard. If first base is incredibly hard, then multiply that times 1,000 to be a big league catcher, and you haven't done it in almost 2 years. Like, I don't think he's ever caught a big league game, has he? Has he ever caught a big league game? Like, this is playing first base is incredibly hard. Playing catcher is multiply that by 1,000,000. With the scouting reports, umpires having to hit, having to block balls, having to throw, having to worry about holding runners, having to worry about timeouts.
He's very smart.
It's not something. I understand that, but it's not just something you can jump into, right?
Oof.
Live fire. I mean, this is live fire.
Hey, we've got Tyler Kepner joining us right now from The Athletic, and he put the player poll together with his colleagues. So, Tyler, how do you think it went overall, the player poll? Like, how were the responses? What stood out to you? And then I'll dive into a few parts that I want to quiz you on.
Yeah, no, it was fun. I mean, most guys I approached were pretty cool about it, just wanting to get their opinions heard. The few questions guys didn't really have much opinion on or know much about, but the gambling question really stood out to me. That was like the one that really opened my eyes. I did not realize how much that conversation is a part of their daily, the daily noise that they have to kind of tune out.
There was another one that stood out to me. I'm like, wait, do they like the automatic ball strike system or they don't? And I'll actually ask this before we dive into this part. Do you wish that you had done a secondary level of this to quiz them on the challenge system specifically? I read that part of it, and I'll pull up the numbers as we're chatting here, but there were not many that said, I am in favor of robo umps. I think it was 17%, and more than half of the group, I think 63%, was against it. But that was calling every pitch. Am I accurate on that one versus just a challenge system?
Well, the way I was phrasing it was just, any kind of non-human umpire system, so whether that was the challenge system where you tap your helmet or the all strike zone thing. That's what I was asking him. And I don't think there's a movement to have every pitch be called balls and strikes. I remember when that was going on in the minor leagues. I went down there to the independent league and did a story on it, but that was several years ago. Now they're veering more toward the challenge system, but it seems like a lot of players don't even like that.
Why? Did you get any more context from them on why they wouldn't want at least the big calls to get fixed? I know I saw some of the quotes, human element, and you'll kill the game if you don't have that. I don't know. Are they on social media enough? Most fans lose their minds on bad calls. We want to go on every borderline call and have 20 challenges? No, not necessarily. I don't. But, I mean, you watch games every night like we do. Most games have, I would say, at least 3 to 5 moments where you're like, damn, he missed.
Right. I think, well, I mean, you guys are catchers. You could speak to it well. Like that I think some players talked about that catcher umpire dynamic, that relationship that a catcher has with an umpire to be able to get certain calls, the art of catching and I hate the word framing, but receiving, that would be diminished. I mean, I think it would still be a part of it because you're not challenging every single call, but I think we heard some stuff about that. We heard that the technology is not that the guys saw at minor leagues, if they were rehabbing or playing down there, that it's not where it needs to be. Like the strike zone felt incredibly small to a bunch of guys down there. So, surprising calls even within a system that's supposed to be perfect. I think they have no time for that.
But are they are they skeptical so they don't want it yet? Or is it something that they're like, I don't ever want it? Or did you not get any kind of reaction in that sense?
Yeah, I think if it could be better, some guys would be more open to it. But there's kind of a natural hesitation or a natural skepticism to something that the league can impose on them. I know they have influence and input and everything, but when it comes down to it, Manfred can just put this thing through and they'll have to deal with it. And it worked out with the pitch clock. I think that was a terrific addition. But I think there's understandably, an element of, oh God, if they're going to impose this on us, we're not really gonna embrace it. But eventually it'll probably turn out to be second nature.
Tyler, let's go to something a little more cheery, shall we? Depending on which side of the ball you're on. What was more intriguing to you? The answer to who you would have won up in Game 7 of a World Series, or who guys said they didn't want to face in Game 7 of a World Series?
Yeah, you know what? I had to frame that differently when I was asking, because if you ask, I found inevitably, if you ask a player like, who would you least like to face? They're like, well, I could take on anyone. They didn't want to sort of frame it that way, but if I framed it like, who's the most challenging at bat, or who's the most challenging guy to face? If you sort of frame it more like a challenge, then they were fine. I don't know. It's just the wording of it in the guys I asked. But yeah, I mean, some of them talked about a big time closer, a Aroldis Chapman kind of, or a Josh Hader type. But other guys, it was sort of someone who causes them trouble in particular. But you got a lot of predictable Ohtani kind of responses. But yeah, that's always good, because sometimes you'll hear ones that guys just can't hit a certain dude, and it's like, man, I can't touch that guy. So, but yeah, that's always interesting.
Were there any questions that kind of overlapped that you're like, wait a minute, everybody said I don't want to face this hitter in Game 7, or I love watching this player, but then he's not on the hitter that I least want to face the least? Like, is there any overlaps where you're like, you guys are kind of contradicting yourselves with some of these answers?
You mean like someone that they really like to watch, but also don't want to come up in the big spot? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, I guess sometimes it's like you're a pitcher, though. Like, if you might like to watch this guy, but you don't want to face him, right? Like that's understandable. Like, if you don't, everybody loves Ohtani and admires Ohtani, but like they don't necessarily want to see him up there. And as you see, Soto's a good at bat. I think most of the stuff was during spring training. If you did it now, I think Judge would probably be a little bit higher. But Soto's just such a tough at bat because of his eye at the plate. You can see Jose Ramirez, the switch hitter element of it is, that's one that I thought would maybe be a little bit higher. But he's probably the best switch hitter in the game. No Lindor on there in the top 3 is another switch hitter who's pretty good. So, but Soto's going to win that one, I think, just because of the selectivity. And he's hot now, by the way. I saw him last night at Citi Field, and he hit a no-doubter. He's starting to feel it.
What did you think about the pitching side for a Game 7? So were you surprised that old Chris Sale, who won a Cy Young Award last year, got, maybe 2 more votes than Tarik Skubal?
Yeah, it was a little surprising. I mean, I think you see Sale. I mean, obviously they're both coming off the Cy Young there. It might have just been who we talked to in particular, but they're both lefties. Sale has done it longer, and I think Sale is just so naturally funky. I mean, you guys know, like, there's just no other pitcher. Now, Skubal's got a distinctive delivery too. But from what I understand from hitters, it's especially hard if you're facing a guy with nasty stuff who also doesn't pitch like anybody else you ever see. And Sale is just so tall and angular, and with the slot that he comes from. I mean, I don't know if anybody still playing has faced Randy Johnson, who was taller, but it was sort of a similar look. But I don't know if there's anybody who looks quite like Sale, and I think that difference, we heard that, like, there's just nobody who looks like him out there, combined with the nasty stuff. Was
the most overrated player a question that you were like?
No, and it should have been.
That's what I was going to ask you, because it's been taken like viscerally, like overrated, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, how is this guy overrated?"
Right.
It's just like it's the player's opinion Because other years, like that always raises good debates.
Yes, I'm glad you said that, Eric, because I'm going to suggest that again next year. Like I had some, we all kind of put in our questions for what we wanted, and somehow that didn't make the cut. But that's a good one, and I'd like to see where that lands next year because you never know. I mean, if it's just like overrated means like overhyped, that's I guess usually what it means to players. But you know that you'd find some interesting things, and then you get the guy who takes that personally and tries to, use that as fuel, right?
Yep.
That one's good. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that one. Just to see where players are at. And yeah, some
Can we ask
also
who the most hated player is now? Because I'm not playing anymore, so they can't say me. So now
Did you win that?
That also needs to be on there.
How many times did you win that? Is that
I don't know.
multiple?
A lot. Actually, I didn't win it every year because A-Rod won it and Bryce won it. So I actually, as I got older, I went down the list. Barry won it at one point, but I was like, gosh, I'm losing. I was losing my touch. I'm like, man, I need to really do something here in my old age.
People have come to appreciate you by then, and they were used to it, so they got what they could out of you. Yeah.
They were jaded. They were jaded by then.
It's hard to beat some of those guys though in that category that you mentioned. So it's
I know the fact that I won a couple times is
Yeah.
something to be proud of, Tyler. That I won a couple times, something to be proud of.
Got to be known for something, right?
Hey, you did do beloved and hated organizations, so I'll take a few quotes that stood out. The Dodgers and Yankees and Braves obviously were at the top, and the teams you would expect were towards the bottom: the A's, the Rockies, the White Sox, the Marlins, the Pirates. The Braves, Cubs, and Guardians got love after the Dodgers and Yankees. The Mets aren't on this list for our top or bottom. But I thought the quote was good from one of the players. The best family room in the league by far is the Mets. There was someone on the Braves saying they do everything just as good as the Yankees, and then a couple that stood out on the other side. None of these are really a surprise. One player pointing out how the player development system for Colorado isn't good. Like they don't give them a lot of information. Shocker. One player pointing out how the Marlins are giving Subway sandwiches to their guys on the road. So
Come on.
Your thoughts from collecting there?
Yeah, I thought it was notable that Cleveland ranked as high as it did, especially because I think this year they improved a lot of the stuff for the players, even on the visiting side. Guys said it's just vastly improved. So that's even before all that took place. So Cleveland, it's not a tropical destination, let's say, but players really seem to appreciate what that organization does for players, and that says a lot for the way they run it there with Chris Antonetti and now Stephen Vogt as the manager. I got a few votes for Detroit, although it didn't show up there. That players say that Detroit has recently made a noticeable difference in how they treat players. The clubhouse amenities, the plane apparently is like the coolest plane in baseball or something like that. So the Tigers are starting to make a little more, get a little more, of a good reputation. And I think the Mets continue to kind of, climb those rankings. But you see a lot of it just comes down to winning and losing. Some of those are the most winningest teams and the losingest teams. But you're starting to see subtle things from like Detroit and maybe not so subtle from the Mets. They're rising in those ranks.
A lot of this, though, goes by clubhouse, how the clubhouses guys treat the players that go in there, right? Because a lot of these teams, these people, I don't know who you talk to, is all anonymous, obviously, but they're not going to – not every player – like I didn't get to go to the home side in a lot of clubhouses until after I was done playing and working for Fox. So to me, I don't know what happens on the home side, so you can only look at it as a visitor. So you go to Cleveland, Willie Jenks and the boys in Cleveland are one of the best. Now, they don't have the best clubhouse to work with, but they do a lot of good things to make it better. So that's why – I would think like, oh, it's a good reputation. Then you talk to guys and they're like, yeah, they treat us right. The medical's good, whatever. They give us good food. Like, so I mean, the Dodgers is obvious. Dodgers and Yankees are the easiest two to look at and say, well, yeah, they're the Dodgers and Yankees. So that's, again, I don't know what they were voting on, but to me, that like if I was looking, because people always say, oh, what was your favorite place to go play? And the first thing I would say is it depends on what you're asking. If you're going clubhouse or you're going like place to be on the field or total package, there's different answers for every question.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I would have thought Philly would be high, right? Isn't you love all the cheesesteaks they make up for you there in Philly? And isn't that always like the big competition for guys is to see who can eat the most? But the Phillies weren't real high on that list. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's because they make you also feel like you weigh 300 pounds, and that's probably why they feed them to you. Because then you try to go hit, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
Competitive
So
advantage.
trust me.
They get you
It's
all
good,
bloated and
but you have to
think-
try to limit yourself. Kratz probably went in there as a visitor and ate them all. He probably tried for the record. I could have like one, because if you're in there for a 4-game series and they give them to you for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that's a lot of cheesesteak. All right. So,
Well, Kratz Erik like me is a Montco guy, I think, right? So we could, know all the hot spots in the suburbs and the city. So you can bring your own, right?
I know Philly people will be upset. Scott actually just asked me for some, but Philly people would be upset. But Montgomery County's got it when it comes to the cheesesteaks, and that's where the visiting clubhouse guy comes from. They're Montgomery County style cheesesteaks. Sorry,
Nice.
it's the
whiz.
thin
You
shred.
gotta put whiz on them. You gotta put whiz on them. That's all I'm saying.
Is that Kevin? Is Kevin still in charge there? Kevin Steinhauer?
Yeah.
He's been okay. I didn't know he's a Montco guy. I've known him for like 25 years. I don't know. Huh.
All right, Tyler, before I let you go, I cannot believe you're wearing that hat. How disappointed were you that Vanderbilt didn't make it out of the regional? They were the number 1 seed. Not only did they not make it out of the regional, they didn't even make the regional final. So I'm very surprised that you are still wearing that hat.
Still, I gotta represent. I went there. There were 4 years, and only one guy made it to the big leagues, Josh Paul, and now they're,
I love Josh Paul.
Isn't he great? Yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah, he was the guy who didn't throw the ball back to first when I ran to first.
Your boy! Oh my God,
yeah,
that's right.
I love Josh Paul.
Josh Paul's reputation. He's such a smart player. And
except for that one moment.
Why wouldn't he have tagged you if it had bounced? He definitely would have tagged you. I mean,
listen.
Wait, this is where we have to finish here. You need to explain this. There are children watching.
Okay, so Josh Paul, when I struck out in 2005, but Josh Paul was the catcher that rolled it back to the pitcher when I went to first, and then the White Sox went on. We didn't lose after that. Yeah. I played with Josh Paul in the fall league, by the way, so we were buddies. Yeah. I kind of feel bad for him because they kind of. I don't want to say it ended his career, but it kind of was like the fast track to the end of his career. After that, I mean, he's a coach now and he's doing other things, but his playing career, that kind of ended it. And I feel bad because I like Josh Paul.
He rolled,
and that was his hometown.
So I struck out, and he rolled the ball to the pitcher, and I ran to first.
Yeah, but the umpire went.
You got to watch it. It's a famous call in Chicago sports.
Oh yeah,
okay. You've never seen
the umpire that? The umpire went like this.
Doug Eddings, my guy, Doug Eddings.
Like this. Doug Eddings blew the call, and then he went like this. So technically, Josh Paul looked back, and he saw him go like this, which is the call for out. But then he said no catch. So he kind of screwed Josh Paul, and AJ being the hustler and down in the dirt kind of guy like he is, did it.
Only person to steal first. I stole first. Don't say you can't steal first because I did it.
Did they change the rule?
Live right now. It's so epic.
Yes, they did change the rule after that.
Because you had left the dirt circle, and now the rule is like, oh, you didn't leave the dirt.
I didn't leave the dirt, but they said now, like, as soon as you make an effort to go back to the dugout, you're out. Like, you have to run right away. Because I took 2 steps back towards the dugout, and if you watch me, in the corner of my eye, I'm like, if he rolls this ball back, I'm going. And as soon as it left his hand, that was when I turned and ran.
So you just thought because it's so low that maybe you might get lucky on that? Like, did you think it bounced? It didn't bounce, but you thought it
Yes, it did bounce. It must be an
angel.
100%
I'm watching it live.
100% bounced.
It was a kind of trap.
Yeah, it was a
trap is a bounce, Scott. Trap is a bounce.
Wait, I'm going to show it to you in slow-mo.
I've watched it. Scott, you know how many of these I've signed in my life?
This is from your career. I'm going to show you.
You know how many pictures? Yeah. I love that Scott's showing me something that
I'm going to take you back.
You know how many pictures I've signed of that exact photo?
And the irony was that Josh was a huge White Sox fan as a kid. Like he told me once he cried when Charlie Lau died. Like he was such a White Sox guy. He played for them from Buffalo Grove, and then that was the spark for the White Sox to go all the way. But yep. But he was the Vandy guy when I was there. He was our big leaguer. So it stinks that we lost, but we've got a couple of championships, and Duke lost too, so that's all right.
That's Vandy's comparison, Duke. Duke and Vandy are on the same level.
Now, I got into both, so I chose Vandy, but a lot of guys didn't.
Humble brag, Tyler. Humble brag.
Right. That's right.
I'm just watching this play on a loop.
Tyler, have you never seen that?
I have. It's a long time at this point.
20 years ago.
Yeah, it's 20 years.
20 years. Oh my God. Yeah.
Tyler, good to chat, man. Good to catch up. Always enjoy
All right,
it.
boys.
Everyone, make sure you give Tyler a follow and check out the player poll if you
Next
haven't
year,
already.
let us ask some questions. Let us come up with a couple questions for next year's poll.
Overrated is
Please.
the best. We got to
Good.
bring that.
All
back.
right. I'll touch base with you because we got to bring back overrated. All right.
Yeah, text us. Thanks,
stuff.
Tyler. Talk soon.
Hey, fellas. All right. Bye.
Hey, for the card collectors out there, you need to know about Arena Club. You can check out our showrooms. We've all got cards in there. You can buy, you can sell, you can trade, and you can rip packs. They're called slab packs, Kratz. And then what happens if you don't like what you pulled?
You get an instant offer. You get an instant offer, but before you get that instant offer, you can show your showroom around, kind of like when I used to put the cards in the sleeves and my buddies would come over and show them. Now, bang, show them on the phone. Instant offers right there if I need it.
Yep, that instant offer is for the estimated fair market value. Accept it on the spot. Acquire the best value for your money with Slab Packs, transparent checklists, and Arena Club's Slab Safe program. Whether you're buying, selling, trading, grading, or ripping packs, Arena Club is the safest, most trusted in the game. Right now, you can get 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/foul and use code FOUL. That's arenaclub.com/foul, code FOUL. We've got a feel-good picture of Andrew McCutchen with a fan who caught his home run ball that passed Roberto Clemente for third most in Pittsburgh Pirates history. And apparently it was stuck under the bleachers. I don't think they're filling the seats right now in Pittsburgh. So this guy grabbed it and then gave it to Kutch. Home run number 241.
Nobody could find it. There was people scurrying around. They looked like ants trying to find it. It was because it banged around in those metal bleachers that are under there. And so people were like looking under there. When Kutch comes back on, let's remind him that's probably just a ball from BP. It's probably not his actual home run ball.
That's what I was going to say. How do they know that's the real ball?
How do they?
They don't.
They don't.
Maybe what if there's someone out there with the real ball?
They don't.
Okay, but first of all, let's say this. Congrats, Kutch.
Yeah.
Well-deserved, a Pittsburgh legend.
So the BetMGM sign, nice.
And just a great all-around fella, and awesome, happy for him. And listen, I'm happy that he got to go back to Pittsburgh and end his career. And they're pretty much said you can play as long as you want to play, which is the best part, right? He deserves it.
Yeah. Well, he's still contributing nicely. Where's he at right now? I mean, I'm seeing him hit, I feel like, just as well as anybody on that team still.
Hey, listen, slim pickings.
I know. 38 years old, 113 OPS plus, on base 35+% of the time.
Yeah.
Useful.
Great.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. We're going to run a clip from Trevor May's May Day about Tommy John surgery. We're getting another run of them popping up again right now at this point of the year.
Well, it happens.
No, I know it's every year, but I'm saying there seems to be pockets where suddenly it's Corbin Burns, Jackson Jobe.
Well, this is about that time where pitchers are getting to 70 innings-ish. So they're starting
We're
to be
also getting pitchers. We're also getting pitchers throwing complete games. How many complete games have we seen in the last 3 or 4 days? Oh, wait. They're throwing more because they haven't thrown a lot before. No way there's a correlation to it. There's no way.
Yeah, they should definitely all be 3-inning babies in the minor leagues.
They are pretty much are.
I'm saying it sarcastically. It's ridiculous.
It's craziness.
But that is true, Kratz. We should give props. David Peterson, CG. We did Andrew Abbott to lead off the show yesterday. Spencer Schwellenbach went the distance yesterday for the Bravos.
I thought there's 4, but maybe I'm wrong.
In the past week?
It's just crazy that we're talking about a complete game. It's an anomaly. He threw a complete game. He's out there in the 9th inning, and he has 95 pitches? in a 1-0 game? What are they doing? Does Terry Francona want to win?
Have you also
So
noticed
on this thing, we just talked about the Josh Paul strikeout thingy. In 2005 in the ALCS, we beat the Angels in 5 games, okay? We lost game 1, and we had a reliever throw 1/3 of an inning. The next 4 games, our starters went CG. That'll never happen again. Burley, Contreras, Freddie Garcia, John Garland all went CG. 9 innings.
Mm-hmm.
That'll never happen again. Think about that. 20 years ago, we had a 5-game series and we used a bullpen guy for 1/3 of an inning. One guy for 1/3 of an inning in 5 games. And then all 4 starters went CG. It'll never happen again. That's how much times have changed. And some of those were 120 pitch.
Well, that's the key. You can't do
things.
that anymore. You can't go that deep.
But
guys
we also
are
had
trying
big enough leads to where we could let them stay out there.
Sure, but guys are trying to get more efficient. I mean, the leader in this category, and it's so quick. We spoke to Paul Skeens before the season started. He's like, I studied the game's best. Their strike percentage was higher than mine. Their first pitch strike percentage was higher than mine. He's talking as if he's been in the league forever. It's like you were a rookie. And, hey, we're seeing it play out. I mean, obviously, the sinker's much more in play for him this year. But the biggest factor for Paul Skeens is, he's not throwing as hard as he did last year.
He
was hitting 101, 102. I don't think he's officially hit, as of a week ago, he had not officially hit 100.0. He's been 99.7, 8, 9, whatever. But he was throwing harder last year. He's become more efficient. Maybe he's throwing like a drop less hard. He still throws hard as hell. And he's going deep into outings.
And he's still not winning.
No, I mean, the team results are irrelevant, but we're just watching.
Well, no, they're not irrelevant, but
I mean, they are for his team this year because they're not a playoff team, so it's a wasted season. But they're relevant for the other side. I'm just saying it's interesting. Let's get Trevor May on this topic.
Teams will begin factoring in surgery as a likely option for older guys, especially the Garrett Coles and whatever. And so the contracts are going to be built with that year in mind. If they haven't had Tommy John and they're 33, 32, and we're signing them to a 4-year deal, there's a very good chance that they're going to need it at some point in this period of time. And that is factored into the contract. It's probably already started happening. It is just one of the things that happens with baseball. It might not happen, but it's more likely to happen, in my opinion. Believe it or not, 2/3 of all reconstructions are done on kids 16 to 20 years old, non-professional players. It all comes back to the incentives and guys pushing themselves so hard so they can play at the next level. We have to find a way to divorce these incentives for pushing yourself too hard from being able to move on to the next level. But I don't know how to do it, but that is what needs to happen. And unfortunately, it's really hard to do. So what can a player do on their own in order to make sure they are in position to stay healthy? Make sure you are warming up sufficiently and the whole kinetic chain is working as it should. And then take your recovery extremely seriously. If you're sore, take a day off from throwing, because it's not about throwing through soreness, it's about your body changing because you are sore. And if you don't pay attention to that stuff, your body will start to shut things down and you will not be conscious of it. And that is what causes his injury most of the time.
It's summertime, and if you want to let it all flow out, but the hair is thinning, there is a solution for you. And Kratz, it's called Nutrafol. Tell the people what they need to do.
It's easy. You just got to hit up Nutrafol.com and use our code FOUL. And I'll tell you why, because you're going to have thicker hair. That's it. If that's your desire, you want thicker hair, there's no other place to go than Nutrafol.com and use the code FOUL for us.
#1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. See thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, they're offering the FT fam $10 off your first month's subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and you enter the promo code FOUL, F-O-U-L. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Jesús Luzardo pitching well again after 2 starts that many thought were so bad they thought maybe he's tipping. And then we've got some pictures here from our friend Pitching Ninja that show he made an adjustment. Whether it was getting picked up or not, he made an adjustment. Explain it to us on the changeup.
The one on the left is the one that's surrounded in red. His glove hand is down by his belt, or his glove is down by the belt. The one on the right is his new change. His glove is tilted, his changeup, not just a change, his changeup, and his glove is tilted up to hide his hand. And if you actually play the video, I don't know if we have that or not, but the video shows he pulls his hand out of his glove as he's going to pitch. As soon as you can see that, you can see, from a hitter standpoint, that ball's, it's hard because he's lefty, so I'll do it righty, but that ball's coming out. Now he's going like this in pitching. And before, his hand, you'll see the video here, his hand stays in his glove, where before his hand was coming out, and that just is like red flags. Dude, just lay off that changeup, which coincidentally, I think he got 4 or 5 of his strikeouts on changeups. And it allows you to sit on, of his 10, it allows you to sit on the heater better if you know a changeup's coming and you just take it.
That's cool. Good change. He's a good pitcher.
Only we had a hitter that faced him coming on the show.
We do. We have Sal Frelick joining us right now from the Milwaukee Brewers. Sal, how you doing, man? Happy 2025 season to you. How's it been going?
Good so far. All healthy and still going, so all good.
Hey, tell Vassallo he can leave the room. It's okay. We're not going to ask.
Yeah, Mike, you're good, man.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. We know you're only tell him that Murph said he only covers national things, so he only comes around with national things coming. So tell him he's good.
He's cracking up back there.
How is Murph, by the way? How's Murph doing season 2 here?
He's good. Same old Murph, so nothing changes there. He'll be the same though.
He's not a little grumpier? Come on. He looks a little grumpier. You guys won the other day, and he was high-fiving in the line, and he wasn't – I feel like he needs a snack, but you tell me. You're around him every day.
Yeah, I think he's just grumpy 24/7. So, for me, I think it's just that's him. But I guess if you guys think he looks grumpy, I might have to cheer him up a little bit.
Hey, I was there on Saturday, and I told these guys that he was not the same Murph. He was definitely grumpier than what he was last year. So I don't know if it's because of the expectations of winning Manager of the Year, and he's the reigning Manager of the Year, so that has a lot of weight on him now. And he has to change it up and try to be grumpy old guy. But, we need Murph to be smiling and happy all the time.
No, I agree. And we definitely get our doses of that. But I think when called for and he needs to be serious, he is. So, no, he's still, especially, when we first get to the clubhouse, he's walking around like he usually is, cracking jokes and stuff. So.
Does he still wear those white cotton sliders? Is he still the only one that wears those gross white cotton sliders?
I don't know. I think, fortunately, I haven't seen him in his sliders, so I'm unsure of what he's wearing, but I wouldn't put it past him.
That was maybe more of a bench coach thing. Maybe a manager always has to have his – this sounds bad. Always has to have his pants on?
No, it actually checks out.
Okay, good.
Hey, what's his nickname for you? What's Murph's nickname for you?
I do not have one. I think everyone always asks me. I think I'm one of the few guys that doesn't have a nickname.
Really?
Yeah.
He just says
maybe
Sal.
He doesn't talk to me a lot.
Maybe he doesn't like you. Yeah, maybe he doesn't like you.
Yeah, sometimes I don't even know if he knows my name. I don't know if I'm going to call me.
That's
All
good.
right. Sal, we were just talking about it a little bit. You guys faced Jesús Luzardo. It's no secret. He was, there was something he changed. He thought he was tipping. Take me to that game. 1, did you guys have the tip that he had, and that's why you scored 12 runs? 2, are you pissed when someone else finds a tip and you're like, daggone it, we could face him later in the year? Now we don't have it.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously he's an unbelievable pitcher, and you really got to come prepared when he's out there. We faced him a ton when he was with Miami, and no, we didn't have any tips on him. I think the boys just showed up that day ready to go, and maybe he didn't have his best stuff, but no, he's always a really tough matchup, especially left on left, and I think we kind of just our plan going in was just to be a little more aggressive and make sure we're swinging at strikes, not just taking them and letting them get comfortable and putting some pressure on, whether it be bunting and stuff like that, try to get them uncomfortable up there. And I think it just worked out for us that day. But no, didn't have any tips on them. And yeah, I mean, you hear pitchers saying they realize they're giving up stuff, but I think most of those tips that we have usually come within the game, not before. It's like, we got guys on the bench, we got coaches, guys, just watching the game that might pick up on something. I think that's where, most of it will come from.
Why do players never want to admit it? Like, people, I just love it. I love it. Like, it's out there now.
I'm serious.
I know, but no position player ever wants to admit until, like, we would trade for guys sometimes, and then we'd be like, hey, we had all your pitches. And they're like, damn it. Like, I knew you guys had something, right? But even if you have something on somebody, you never want – it's almost like, oh, well, yeah, he already figured it out, but we don't want to admit that we had something. We just want to say we were good that day, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I get it because I played and I understand why. It's just funny to me that nobody will ever just say – like, there's a guy named Brad Radke who pitched way before you, but I came up with him, or he was in the big leagues. I caught him. Then I got to the White Sox, and we faced him. We had every pitch, and we hammered him. So he invites me to his retirement party. And he's like, can you speak? So I speak at his retirement party. And I'm like, Brad, I just want you to know we had every pitch. That's why. He's like, he stood up. He's like, I got to pitch for 5 more years if you'd have told me. I was like, well, it's too late now, right? So nobody ever wants to admit it until it's over. But I applaud you for that. I applaud you for that.
Well, wait, I have a follow-up. Just so that we can clarify. In your big league career so far, have you faced anyone where the team has had a tip? I don't want the name. We just had the anonymous player poll. Have you ever benefited from any type of tip?
Oh yeah, I mean all the time. I mean, guys, again, I think I haven't, and this is my 3rd year. I haven't played a game where before we've been like, we're gonna have every single one of these guys pitches. That's never been the case. I think most of the time, and where I've seen it the most, is when we have a guy on second, or maybe even a guy on first, where they can see it from first, and we might, before the game, say, hey, if you get to this base, look, we might have this tip. So I think most of the time it's when I'm in the box and we have runners on base that are actively looking on maybe a tip we thought we might see, and then they are able to relay, where that's the only area where I've really seen tips work or be the most beneficial towards an offense. And but that's it.
Sal, you need to go from the media room directly into Matt Arnold's office and tell him to hire somebody that does this, because there are teams that is the end of the hitters meeting and the video is always running. It's like from the stretch, from the windup, from like toe pointed, not toe pointed. Like,
and we have it. We have it in every hitters meeting too. I think we have those guys. I actually know we have those guys. I just think sometimes, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but they'll put it up on the video and we'll be looking at it, and then you get out there and it's just near impossible to see from. A lot of the tips we're getting are from the center field camera, from one of the cameras on the side, and it's just a different look when you're out there. So we have all that information at our disposal. I know most teams do. I just think sometimes when you're in the game and it can maybe speed up on you, you don't want to be trying to peek in and then not get a good secondary and not scoring a base hit. We've kind of run into that issue sometimes. So as much as I think it can help, I think we don't want it to hurt maybe our base running or slow down our offense at all, because we're trying so hard to get stuff like that. But like I said, there's definitely times where it's blatantly obvious, and we've gotten that before the game. We just got to make sure we're paying attention to that stuff.
So, real quick, last thing. Did you see the Angels and the Red Sox get into it because the first base coach was moving and doing all this rigmarole? My biggest thing with tipping was I needed it early. Like it couldn't be
Right.
the guy's got his
Right.
leg up coming, right? So from
Yep.
the video I watched with the Angels and the Red Sox guy, he was moving late as hell. The guy was already coming,
Yep.
and then they're like, "Oh, he's moving on fastballs or whatever he was doing." To me, as a hitter, like I wanted like there was guys that tip, but they were already like coming at you, and you're like, "All right, that's too late for me." Right? And
Yeah, I saw
as a
that
hitter, I
video,
want
and
it
I was
early.
like, I saw that video, and I was like, "There's no way that a hitter was able to pick that up and then lock back with a pitcher and be able to hit the ball." It's just, it didn't make sense. Like we were talking about, it's got to be so early, almost before the pitcher even comes set or as he's coming set. If it's anywhere after that, like as a hitter, I don't even want any of that information. I think a lot of guys are even sometimes will even say, "Hey, if you're on second, you have a tip, don't tell me. I don't want to know." So I think, and a lot of times it's because you're getting it so late, they don't want you jumping around out there or whatnot, adding more movement. So, like you said, Piers, I think it's got to be as early as possible.
Did you see what Aaron Civale said about, or his agent said about wanting to be traded? What's the reaction? His agent said because he got moved to the bullpen, he said, "Oh well, yeah, he should be traded." What's a teammate's reaction when you hear something like that?
Yeah, I mean, again, we love Civ. He's one of us, and I think it's coming from a place of competition and coming from a place of I want the ball. I want to be out there, giving my team the best chance to win. So I don't think anybody takes that personally. Any of us look at him differently. I think it's just that's the mentality of a starter, right? He's been a starter his whole life, and he wants the ball up there, and he wants to be able to go out and give us a great chance to win. So I think that's where that's coming from, and I haven't talked to Civ about it, but I'm sure he didn't necessarily want that getting out publicly. But at the same time, I don't think it's coming from a place of anything bad where he thinks that would do anything to the clubhouse or maybe other guys.
Sal, better chance of happening this year or this week maybe. Mike Vasallo sitting there watching his kid on Game Changer playing a game during a Brewers game instead of paying attention.
You're relentless.
Or
You're relentless.
I love
You're
Vasallo.
ruthless.
He's the best. He got me in the
I do
sausage
too.
race. How can I not like Vasallo? Or you moving possibly to third base or another position. What's more likely to happen this year?
I mean, it's Vasallo. It's got to be Vasallo. I can't imagine anything is more likely than that because that's probably going to happen maybe even today. But no, yeah, I hope, obviously if I needed to move to third, I would. But, I think for right now, I think I'm stuck out in right. But you never know. I don't know.
Do you like playing third? Like, is it something that you take grounders in BP or whatever every once in a while?
Yeah, I mean, last spring training was definitely that's all I was doing. I was just taking them every day, planning on playing there. Played a little bit last year, maybe like a couple innings. I thought it was all fun and games until the first time I played there. Stanton was up and we had a position player throwing, so that kind of ended my dreams of ever wanting to go back there. And then the same thing this year. I played there opening day, again throwing position player, and Judge was up, looking to hit his third homer of the game. So I had to imagine he was getting the head out, and I was trying to play on the grass, and the ump kept telling me I had to play in the dirt with the new shift rule, and I told him if I died, it was on him. So yeah, it wasn't fun over there.
That is so true, man. They're so close when the monsters come up. It's the same at first base for me. But the thing I want to ask you, for me to finish, is the big thing was talked about in spring training. You put on this weight. Now it's Big Sal. Uncle Sal's turned into Grandpa Sal. How is that extra weight? One, have you kept it on? Because some dudes can't ever keep it on. Two, how's your body feel playing every single day with that extra weight?
Yeah, it's been awesome. Been able to maintain it. Obviously, you fluctuates a little bit. You go down, you go up. But for the most part, been able to maintain it. And yeah, that was the whole point of it. It was like, last year I remember going home after the season and my mom was like, "Oh my gosh, like what is going on? Like you look like a skeleton." And just minor injuries popped up a little more, and I was like, yeah, I really got to make sure I put on some good weight this year just to be able to get through 162. Last year was the first time I had ever done, played a full season, and I think I was a little immature in that aspect on, really how to go about it, off of the field and get my body ready. So, it's been great. Just, waking up, feeling better, after, whether it's a night game into a day game, or in the past I'd, maybe dragging a little more or stuff like that. So, definitely been able to see so far the benefits of that.
So, more excited to see Miz make his debut tonight or face Sonny Gray tonight? Which one are you more excited about?
I have to go with Miz. I think Sonny's had my number for the past few years. So, no, super excited.
Tonight's the night, okay? I got you. Max Muncy was like 0 for 30 against Aaron Nola. I did the game. He got 3 hits. He went 3 for 3. So you know what? I'm going to take some of my Muncy good luck, and I'm going to put it on you tonight.
I'm gonna need it. No, it's gonna be fun. Love going out and getting to compete against those guys who it's a blast. So super excited to get to face Sonny again, and I can't wait for Miz to go out there, and show everybody why he's up here and ready to go.
He throws pretty hard.
Yeah, he does 100.
Yeah, I'm pretty glad he's on our team.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I've got one more for you because you brought this up from the first series of the season, which obviously didn't go well from a win-loss perspective. You guys have bounced back since, but it feels like 10 years ago already to me. Do you remember the hysteria from that first weekend and how casual baseball fans were being brought in and saying, this is insane. There's these different types of bats. It's going to change everything. We haven't spoken about it since that first week. So I just wanted to get your perspective. You're good on this stuff. How crazy was that?
Well, yeah, we were just talking about that like a few days ago, actually. And I was like, we haven't heard anything about the bats. And I think after either the second or third game, it was like, oh, this series might be under protest, or people were calling for, and I was like, just whatever, letting the people talk. But, I mean, clearly everybody, I think, has at least tried to use a torpedo bat, whether it's in batting practice or in a game. And some guys like it, some guys don't. I think it's been disproven that, it might be a, plus if you're using it and, win for the hitter already, or an advantage. And I obviously think that's not true. But I think it was just because it was so new, and obviously we got destroyed. So we go in there and maybe, win one or just play 3 close games. It's not even talked about. But yeah, it's kind of crazy how no one's talked about it since.
Amazing.
By the way, what's your hat? I'm trying to figure it out. I'm Googling it, what it says. First of all, I can barely read it, but I mean, is that like a...
So it's what a day to have a day. And then it's the like the first
acronym.
Yeah, Sonny Gray, baby. What a day to have a day. There you go. See? Right there. That's
positive
the start.
Vibes only here in Milwaukee right now.
I love it. I love it.
This was fun, Sal. Great to catch up with you. Always enjoy it. Good luck tonight. Enjoy it. A lot of us will be watching, obviously, to see Miz. And we'll catch you down the road.
Awesome, guys. Always a blast. We'll talk soon.
Okay.
Bye, Fasalo.
Mike,
we love Mike. We love you, Mike. Thank you.
Exactly. Like this.
Yeah, before I popped on, he was showing me the game changer before we got on.
He's always on Game Changer, and it's always awkward. It's an Mike. Just hold your phone like normal. You don't have to hold it like this, Mike. You're like holding it like you're gonna do something about the game. Like it's not gonna change. Just watch it, enjoy it, go on to the next one.
He made a Frelick type play yesterday. I was telling him.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, you gotta send us.
I will.
All right.
Text
Thanks,
us.
guys.
The video.
Thanks, guys.
Y'all.
Appreciate you, Sal. Maestro hit it. BetMGM locks. Erik Kratz getting hot. Didn't we tell him again? Let's just keep making it up.
Somebody said he never wins, and then he goes out and wins 2 in a row.
I know, but I felt it this week. I was like, you should start throwing down a little bit more.
Yeah, he won't, though.
He's so good. So disciplined. Anyway, Kratz, are you feeling yourself a little bit? You going to do something crazy? You going to get frisky?
No, it's just I'm here for the people. I am here for the people. You follow me. Eventually, it's going to be green. It's going to be a lot of green. I'm just trying to build my formula, all that stuff. Just one day at a time. One day at a time.
Yeah, it's a marathon. I get it. We're only a little over the 1/3 mark of the season, so there's still a ways to go. What are you doing tonight?
I'm going a little money line, Turk Skubal. They switched it. It was going to be Kramer starting against him. Now it's Aiken, so I'm going Turk Skubal is going to win. So that's a Tigers money line. And I'm going Cubs money line because they're playing the Pirates and they were sick of losing to the Phillies. So they're going across the poop state to play the Pirates. And Andrew Haney's pretty good, but I got that money line parlay coming out at plus 126. I could be wrong on that, but it's a nice little plus money for me.
Nice. Poop state.
Poop State is perfect name for Pennsylvania. The Poop State.
It's fine. I live there.
We'll do
Poop.
AJ and
Every day.
my pick coming up in a moment. I did want to bring this one up just because we talked about the torpedo bats with Sal Frelick. I was like, I'm just curious because I think he had a few homers in his first week and a half in the bigs or this season. Anthony Volpe was kind of the poster child for it. Jazz. It's a little tougher too because he missed some time. He got hurt. Volpe has 8 homers. So I guess he's on pace for 20-ish.
OPS plus.
776, 116 OPS plus. So he is having a better year. His first 2 years, he was 81 and 86. This is a much better season, although it's a little front-loaded. He had a hot start.
Yeah.
That's
And
the
he had
point of
12
having a
homers
different.
last year, 21 the year before. But he's
So
in
that's the
what he
point.
had his rookie year.
You try a different bat to try to get hot, and if the bat gets you hot, you're going to stick with it. You're going to stick with it. I don't care what the bat is. I'd hold the barrel and hit with the handle if it made me get more hits.
True. What's the beef? We got a big slab. We actually brought this up yesterday. Who gets credit? Kratz. Watching Soto versus MacKenzie, Gore. We don't know if this is why, but do you think that Pete Alonso was hit intentionally in yesterday's game?
I think it
You
was,
think it was just a miss from Rutledge?
I
Watch
think it
the
was a
pitcher.
miss.
Yeah. He was ahead 0-2 in the 7th. I mean, they were down 5.
Watch the pitcher. He wasn't trying to hit him.
Wasn't trying to hit him.
That is, and Ron Darling's reaction is, listen, he wasn't trying. You got to pitch Pete in. You got to show him something in. Senga's down, by the way.
Uh-oh.
Grabbing his hamstring. That's not good. But yeah, this is not intent. I'm sorry. It's not. You got to show Pete in, especially with 2 strikes. You want to run one in. What? Just if you ever want to know if a pitcher is throwing, just watch the pitcher. They give it away. Just like I always tell people, if you want to know a ball is hit off the bat, fair, foul, homer, watch the hitter. He'll tell you. As a hitter, you know right away. If it's foul, you don't even move, and everyone gets the hitter's standing there like practice. Like they'll give it to you right away. Am I wrong, Kratz? Like the hitters and the pitchers give it to you right away.
That's why I'm so confused when in the big leagues umpires miss calls because you just see the reaction. The game is played at such a rhythm that you always see the reaction. Again, back to the guy throwing at him. This one where the guy throws it and he goes, missed it, or he looks down at the dirt, his foot. Yeah, because something was wrong with the dirt, and that's why you hit him. You know right away when you try to hit a guy.
So, Ron Darling's longtime big leaguer and then been a broadcaster for a long time. I know him quite well. I did a lot of work with him. He was not happy about it. And his quote was, the quote from Gary Cohen was, Ronnie's going to be firing a baseball at somebody before you know it. And Ron was explaining how, once you live that as a player, you just can never escape when a guy gets hit. He felt it.
Yeah, I get that part of it because, listen, I understand that part of it.
Yeah.
But also, Ron pitched for a long time and understands the game, and he should know that they're not trying to hit him right there. Again, we went through the whole scenario yesterday, and I don't see it. In today's game, they don't do this anymore. It's just not a thing.
Well, they do it, but it's like once or twice a year. I mean,
yeah, but there's something that happens that's so blatantly obvious. And then the pitcher, MacKenzie Gore last year, when he threw it Profar the first pitch of the game, and he drilled him, or he missed him, did he? And then he hit him the next pitch.
Something like that.
Gore didn't get kicked out. Profar and Schilt got kicked out, but Gore stayed in the game. Like, there are times where as a hit. Listen, there are times as a hitter, this dude's throwing at me, and I know it. If you don't like it, go get him. Or just wear it and go to first. That's it.
I don't think Darling. I don't think Ron was necessarily saying they were throwing at him. I felt like he was saying you play the game for so long and you still get mad at that situation. I think he was mad that one of their home run hitters got hit. That is what has changed. That's what's changed. Pitchers from Little League on up, all they are taught is throw the ball as hard as they can. When their outing's over, that's it. And they're almost like viewed as not part of the team. Ron Darling played in a time when I'm protecting my superstar. So he, I think, was expressing the sentiment that he felt towards the fact that one of their stars got drilled on a pitch up and in when the Mets, I think, had 3 or 4 homers that night. So that's, I don't feel like Ron felt like it was a intentional hit by pitch. I think Ron felt like, no. Somebody has to protect our stars, which I completely agree.
You're probably right. You're probably right. Because
that makes sense.
It doesn't happen anymore. Listen, I played against some of the best. John Carlos Stanton, when he was with the Marlins, right? We would have a meeting, and I would tell our pitchers, you got to throw one up and in early in the game. It's got to be the first day of the first game of the first series, because we got to send a message to them that you guys can't lean out over the plate. And you throw one up and in, and not trying to hit them. And I'm not even talking like I'm talking like chest up in here, just to get them to go like this. Miguel Cabrera, same way. You got to make them aware in here, because if you don't, those dudes were going to right field and they're hitting laser beams like left-handed pull hitters. With Stanton, the thing was you throw one in here, and then if you did it again, you had him, because you would get him to swing at everything, because then he would get mad, right? Because it was after he had been hit in the face and that whole ordeal, which was awful. But then you could once he got mad and you got him to chase one, game over. You could throw him anything. He's swinging because he'd get mad, right? And Mickey, you had to make a wear in. And I agree with what you just said, Kratz. Maybe we were looking at this the wrong way. That was probably the right way. And what he's saying is right, because that doesn't happen anymore. There's nothing wrong with going in on guys off the plate. And I'm not advocating hit anyway, but throwing in. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. And if it gets away a little bit.
That story you told about Stanton, that's so funny. Cliff Lee, I don't know if I ever told this on here. Cliff Lee never did scouting reports. He was like, I don't want to do scouting reports. He's like, I'm going to throw my best pitches. I'm going to throw strikes, and that's it. And this was really good Cliff Lee. This wasn't like coming back from the minor leagues Cliff Lee. This was Phillies Cliff Lee. And he goes, before the Marlins game, the one day, he goes, Mike Stanton, he goes, I don't care what the scouting report says, and I don't do scouting reports. He goes, but we're throwing it inside. Obviously, you had to, he could run that cutter in. He says, I'm throwing everything in off the plate. He said, I don't care what the scouting report says. I go, why? Which I was happy that he said that. He goes, because if I leave one out over the plate, I think he's the one guy in the game that may kill me. He said, if he hits a homer on a pitch in and it's pulled, he said, I'm totally fine with it. He said, if I leave one out over the plate, I may never throw another pitch again, and I love my family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't want anyone to die.
Yeah.
We don't want anyone to die.
His exit velocity in his prime, even now.
Dude,
but
he hit a ball off Shelby Miller in Miami that still might not have landed. It went over they have an upper deck out there. It went over the upper deck, out the freaking gate out there in center field. I think it hit the Orange Bowl sign out there that's stuck in the ground.
That is insane. All right, so that all tracks then. So for Ronnie, just back to the top here, he's looking at it going, damn, if I was playing right now, I'd hit their dude, right? I'm going after someone for hitting Pete, and you could break someone's wrist. Yeah. Even if, obviously, it's unintentional. No. The point is, no.
Tony La Russa used to have, Tony La Russa and the old school guys would be like, you hit my guy, I'm hitting 3 of yours.
Wow.
I'm just going to keep throwing at you.
That's what
that was how he protected Pujols. That's how he protected Pujols for all those years, right? And he protected McGuire, and he protected his guys. He literally, it was known. Like I remember David Risky got traded to the White Sox. We're playing the Cardinals. His first pitch with the White Sox, he drilled not Shelly Duncan, his brother, Chris Duncan. He was brought in, and something had happened during the game. His first pitch, he freaking smokes him. And he got ejected. His first pitch as the White Sox, David Risky, whack. Because we beat the crap out of them. This is 06. They won the World Series that year.
Yeah.
We had beaten the crap out of them the first 2 games, and there was a couple balls that were like thrown at Jim Thome and some other guys. Risky's like, I'll handle this. First pitch hits Chris Duncan. I think he hurt him. But that was his first pitch that he ejected.
Hey, you want
as a White Sox. It was awesome.
Quick friends.
Yeah, you made a lot of friends quickly.
Yep.
But it was great.
It's good stuff.
And it wasn't great because I think Chris Duncan, I think his name was.
He got hurt.
I think he got hurt. But it was just one of the, listen.
Don't hit anyone. It only starts when someone misses most of the time nowadays.
Yeah.
It's not like Pedro Martinez.
The guys also used to know how to pitch inside, they knew how to do it, right? It was down here. It's coming, whack. Okay, I get it. Move on.
Yep. All right. Slap hands coming up next. Locks part 2. AJ's up.
I am going over punch outs for Tarek Skubal. I think it's 7.5 because let's be serious. The Orioles, they can't hit lefties at all. And he's pitching against the Orioles. And then I'm going under 7.5 for Framber Valdez because the White Sox actually have been really good at putting the ball in play. Surprisingly. They actually put the ball in play. They don't have a lot of power, but they put the ball in play. They've been better. So that gets me plus 164.
Yeah, but he might go complete game, 3 strikeouts.
Punches.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I mean. I completely agree. I would take Framber's outs because of how much they put the ball in play.
I like that. Yeah, I actually used to bet a lot of Framber starts and then hit a pretty bad rut.
He's kind of like this sometimes.
It's hard to track.
But he's been good, so I'm riding the good Framber. And then then he'll have a couple starts where you're like, yeah, what happened to him? Then all of a sudden he like focuses again, and he's like, whoa, it's good guy again.
But you want the under anyway, so if he somehow
I just wanted to get a million ground balls.
Yeah, exactly. Or if somehow the White Sox have a day.
Either one.
On offense.
Either way, I'll be happy.
Yes, you'll be happy. Not likely to happen, but I'm going to go with the Cubs run line over the Pirates. I love fading the Pirates.
On these poor Pirates today.
I mean, as you should.
Skeens isn't pitching.
Right.
Heaney's been good.
Cubs by 2 or more.
Traded.
Yeah. And Tyone's been really good at home. Cubs bullpen's on fire. Cubs hit lefties really well. Pirates bullpen not great. Pirates against righties on the road really bad. Really bad. So add all of that up. I'll take a nice little Cubs beatdown tonight.
Okay.
This is the kind of game that I might even go a little teaser on my own, not for my lock. So like for example, you put $100 down on them to win by 2, and then like another 50 on them to win by 3. It's a little tease it up. I might go that route tonight. Anyway, BetMGM's giving you a chance to win a prize every day during baseball season. You can step into the batter's box, play the BetMGM Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. Visit the app, access the game, score a prize if you get a successful result, like a hit of any kind. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Slap hands coming up next. Hey, question from Henry. I think this was in chat BCC. As everyone knows, we're checking that every day. He said, do you guys believe in catcher ERA?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
You could be catching
a
brutal pitcher.
I believe in wins for a catcher behind the dish. I think certain catchers know how to make sure a team stays in the win column, but isn't necessarily worried about earned run average. So that's why I don't like the ERA, but I lean towards wins.
Here's the problem I have with both of those, and I understand why people like them, but as somebody, I'll use David Ross as an example. Guess who David Ross caught every time he pitched?
Mm-hmm.
John Lester. Guess what? He's going to have a good ERA and he's going to win a lot of games versus like when I was on the Red Sox, I was getting all the other guys. So, right? So you're like, oh, I'll get a call. I'd get the call-up guy. Or I'd get the – listen, and that's – you do the best you can. But if you're only catching a certain guy every time, if you're only catching the ace every time, you're Eddie Perez, you're only catching Greg Maddux, but then you're Javi Lopez, you get the other 4 guys that aren't Greg Maddux, right? It's all relevant. That's why even the backup catcher, the goal for a backup catcher, Kratz tell you, is to win the game they're in and also keep the starting catcher out of the game usually.
Yeah, but if you're Hunter Goodman, you're the best hitter on the Rockies, you're a catcher. I mean, all of those numbers you just mentioned are going to be absolutely atrocious. It has nothing to do.
That's my point. It's all relevant.
It's relative. And that brings up a question. Why does a $150 million pitcher need a personal catcher?
Why not?
Because he can.
Why not? You just got paid $150 million. I should be able to put that dude that hangs in the back of the batting cage back there, and you should still deal.
What if you have more of a problem with the?
You ain't worth $150 million then. To me, that's politicking. That's not the whole personal catcher thing. That's politicking. That's like, oh, I love hanging around my $150 million pitcher. Oh, I love being here hanging this guy. Like, it's not, I don't know.
Well, it's much less of a thing now.
It is. Well, because the catching duty is much more split. But listen, there was only 2 times where I ever saw it. One was with John Lester and David Ross when I was with the Red Sox. That was like the big one. And then Julio Teheran wanted Christian Bethancourt to catch him every time. That didn't go so good. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
I mean, I would go the other way here. Like, you're not a $150 million pitcher. You also don't get a personal catcher.
Agreed. Rangers are boat racing the Twins.
They are. You know, Berger's got he does the cross.
Does he?
Celebration. Yeah, for the Pope. Ever since, he's been hitting better.
Came back from AAA.
Some of us did that every at-bat.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Before the at-bat?
Mm-hmm.
How close to before the at-bat?
When I'd walk up in the batter's box?
Batter's box, you did it?
Yeah.
I got to look back.
Every at-bat.
I'm digging into the archives today.
Seriously.
All show long.
Let's play know your team.
You're gonna ruin your whole YouTube queue. It's just going to be AJ Pierzynski themed YouTube stuff tonight.
Yeah.
That's fine. I know how to manage YouTube. I tell them what I like and don't like. Sometimes they give me things, and then I press the 3 buttons on the side, and I say, no, I actually don't like that stuff. There's a way to counter the algorithm. What are you wearing today?
I mean, Sal Frelick's on here. Uncle Sal hitting a couple extra dingers, and I would fight against him. I bet he goes to third base before we know it.
Wait, hold on. Bring it back. There are 2 letters in that logo. I feel like this comes up every 4 months.
That's why I didn't bring it up.
MB, Milwaukee Brewers. Tomorrow.
That's the best logo in the game.
It's a really good one. Whoever made that up.
That was made back like in the 60s, 70-ish.
It's been a minute.
It's the best logo in the game. I'm sorry. Especially because just the hidden MB.
It still tracks. It still plays.
Still slaps, as they say.
Still slaps.
Oh, that John's tight.
Yep, we just murdered more words. Tomorrow, Ken Rosenthal. Maybe Ollie Marmol.
Ollie's 95%, 99% in.
I like my chances. Otto Kemp from the Phillies. Good story.
Yes. And by the way, Aaron Civale, birthday. Happy birthday today. You're in the bullpen. Way to go.
That's a crazy birthday. Trade request on your birthday, bumped to the bullpen.
Happy birthday.
I'd feel bad, but he is making $8 million this year. Like, There's worse problems.
There is, but I feel for him. I understand.
No, you get it. Yeah.
I see both sides of it.
If you missed that, top of the show, good debate with these two. Should he ask or should he not ask for the trade? See you tomorrow. Us three tomorrow.
Should I stay or should I go?